Have a lovely, quiet Thanksgiving, I told them, smiling politely, masking the sting. They thought they had won again. Another year of exclusion. Another holiday where my chair at the table stayed empty. What they didn't realize was that while they planned to keep me isolated, I was already setting the stage for my revenge. I had a Vermont farmhouse waiting, a feast prepared, invitations sent to everyone but them. It wasn't always like this. Once I believed in family. I believed love meant being seen, included, remembered. But slowly they taught me otherwise. The missed calls that never came back. The dinners I forgot to be invited to. Birthdays spent alone while they gathered for someone else. Their excuse was always the same. We didn't think you'd mind. But I did. What hurt wasn't the absence, it was the deliberation. They chose to leave me out, chose to let me sit in silence while they laughed together. And every year I smiled through it. Every year I forgave. Until this one. The truth came out 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. My mother called. Casual. Too casual. We'll be keeping it small this year. Just us, really. You understand. I understood perfectly. Small meant me cut out. Again. The rage inside me was sharp, but I didn't let it show. I simply replied, "Of course. Have a lovely, quiet Thanksgiving." And then I began. The plan was simple. First, I made my list. Every cousin, every uncle, every distant relative who'd ever whispered to me in private, "I don't know why they treat you like that." Then I offered them something my family never could. Belonging. An invitation. My Vermont farmhouse was the hook. Wide wooden beams, fireplaces glowing, long tables that could hold more food than anyone could eat. I promised laughter, warmth, abundance. I promised them a Thanksgiving they'd never forget. And they came. The day arrived. Snow dusted the ground outside. A postcard scene. Inside, candles flickered against pine wreaths. The air was thick with the smell of roasted turkey, buttered rolls, spiced cider. The farmhouse filled quickly. Coats draped over chairs, voices rising, glasses clinking. I stood in the kitchen doorway, watching them gather. Smiles, hugs, the sound of family. Not the one that excluded me, but the one I chose. And I felt something I hadn't in years. Power. The photos were my weapon. A group shot by the stone fireplace, every face lit with joy. My cousin's kids laughing over pie, my uncle raising a toast. The kind of photos that scream unity, love, tradition. I posted them carefully, publicly, and then I waited. The explosion came that night. My phone buzzed endlessly. Messages from my mother first. "What is this? Why didn't you tell us?" Then my brother. "You invited everyone but us? How could you?" I scrolled through them calmly, sipping wine by the fire. They were outraged. But beneath the anger, I could smell it. Fear. Fear that the control they'd held over me was gone. Fear that their perfect little narrative had cracked. Because for once, they weren't the center. They weren't even included. A week later, the confrontation came. My father called, his voice low, dangerous. "You humiliated us." I let a beat of silence hang before answering. "No, you did that the moment you decided I wasn't family. I just showed everyone what that looks like." He tried to bark back, but the edge was gone. His authority had evaporated. For the first time, he knew I could live without them, and worse, that others were willing to stand with me. That was the true revenge. Not the food, not the farmhouse, not the photos. It was watching their power unravel, piece by piece. They could no longer dismiss me as the outsider, the forgotten one. Not when everyone else had seen me as the host, the heart of Thanksgiving. Now, when I think back to my mother's words, We'll be keeping it small this year. I smile, because I kept it grand, grand enough for everyone but them. The farmhouse is quiet again now, but not empty. The echoes of laughter linger. The scent of wood smoke clings to the beams. And in that silence, I feel no sadness, no regret, only satisfaction. They wanted me invisible, disposable. Instead, I became unforgettable. Revenge wasn't loud. It wasn't cruel. It was a single word said calmly, without hesitation. No. It was building a table big enough for everyone but those who once made sure I had no seat at theirs. And it was watching them choke on the sight of what they could never touch.